I've got to get my hand.
Okay, right, we're on. Hello, welcome to Off Lead with Stuart and Emma. We are joined today by David Glasgow. Is it David or Dave? Which one do you prefer, mate?
Dave.
Dave. So we're joined with Dave Glasgow, all the way from the Isle of Wight. You on the Isle of Wight now, or are you still on holiday?
I'm still on holiday.
Still on holiday. Perfect.
Wow. Are you abroad?
No, in the Lake District.
Oh, okay.
Nearly, almost.
Almost abroad.
The Wi-Fi is good though, isn't it?
Yeah, very
Cool. So yeah, today we're going to cover a little bit. The subject we're going to cover today is sort of grade 7 and beyond. So when most of our let's say our ambition, I suppose, when we first started doing agility is to move up the grades. So if we're starting at grade 1 or 2 and we want to get up to grade 7 and all the bits and pieces that go with that, and then when we get to grade 7, what is there to do at that point?
So have you just reached grade 7 for the first time, first dog, Dave?
Yes. So it's my first time at grade 7.
Yay! Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it, really? Because you're so like, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to get, and like now what?
Yeah. Now what? How did you feel when you got your last win or your last points for your grade 7?
I was very elated, very. But and then probably it was only 2 days later, and I was like, oh, now what? It was just odd, really.
Yes. Have you had any grade 7 classes yet?
One.
Okay.
Only
How
one.
do you feel walking the course, first of all?
Yeah, I don't think it's any different, really. I don't think it's any different. I mean, you learn as you go along, don't you? So I don't feel that I'm under any more pressure or anything. I'm quite happy to walk grade 7 courses. Obviously, the courses change dramatically, really, at grade 6, don't they?
Yeah.
I would. So I've had about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of them sort of walking them sort of courses. You do look in the queue and go, oh, I reckon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I remember when I got there with Herbie and I felt like I was there, particularly in the champ classes, I felt like I didn't belong there and that I was there by invitation, and that I wasn't worthy of standing in the grade 7. So if you were feeling like that, just get rid of it, because at the end of the day you've earned your place there, and you deserve to be as much as anyone else in the grade 7 and champ courses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but in your blogs before though, how did you say it? Sort of like the people, the elite. I think you talked about, didn't you? And you feel like you're on the outside looking in. It's really odd. I mean, I'm okay when I get on the course, providing I get a start line weight, which is very embarrassing having a grade 7 dog and still not got.
That's a start line weight.
Oh, I just Jensen out one day.
You mean you've got all the way to grade 7 without a start line weight? How is that even possible?
Sometimes I haven't, but it gets better as the weekend goes on usually. But yeah. So it's just a bit of it's an odd feeling, isn't it? It's just
odd. It is.
So what's your thoughts though, Dave? What are you thinking about? Because obviously, from our point of view, sometimes we look at the next stage. So we're looking at like Crufts, Olympia, maybe even like a team IFCS or team GB or those sort of things. Are you thinking along those lines?
Yeah. I don't know if Jensen's just maybe a little bit past it now. I don't know. And the IFCS, obviously, because Jensen's a little bit bigger than 400, he would have to jump 500. So I think that'd be difficult to qualify for that. Obviously, I've been doing the fab shows. So I've got a reasonable amount. But again, in a different league. If you know, there's 2 little leagues, if you will.
Yeah.
Slightly bigger 400.
Yeah.
Go back a little bit, because when I first qualified into grade 7, or went into grade 7, I had no aspirations of Olympia or anything like that. I did want to run champ, but I didn't want to try out for British team or anything. I had no aspirations at all, and I felt very much like okay, what now? I was what we were calling kind of grassroots show, Stuart, you know. And I tell you what I used to do. I used to look at the queue and look at the scribe sheet. Those were in the days of the paper. And I used to, oh gosh, I can't remember her name now, but there was a lady, she was quite elderly, and her dog, she ran Shelties, and her dogs always used to beat Herbie. And Lee Harfield was another one. She had her black poodle at the time, and I always used to want to beat and aspire to be Lee. And I remember the day that it happened, and the other lady whose name I can't remember now. And I used to look at them and think, are they in there? And I used to have like little mini competitions in my head. And the day I sort of like said, oh, I beat you, they were like, what? and potentially quite flattered or thought that I was raving nutter, but that's how I used to do it. Was I used to have mini competitions with myself. And I know some people, I'm not like this at all, but keep their spreadsheet of their agility times and that sort of thing, and they would like compete against themselves and do like meters per second and that sort of thing. So just, you know, just because I am aware that we have people listening that don't want to necessarily go to the elite or, you know, country level or the bigger name shows. So I think it's important to cover that as well, isn't it, with our grade 7, our new grade 7s.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to Stuart about this because we did a cross qualifier at the start of the year, and I said to Stuart, what do you do? We're all out, or you build up for the weekends or whatever? But I did just put a really safe run in, and afterwards, I mean, I went clear, and for 30 minutes I was leading, which was very nice. But afterwards I went, no, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone all out, because I am with a safe run, I'm not going to qualify.
Yeah, I don't think with a safe run you're not necessarily going to win a grade 7 class either.
Yeah, I suppose it does work a little bit on that, doesn't it? Like it depends on what you're looking for, and I suppose knowing your dog as well. If you know that a safe, steady clear is still on par, and you know you've got more to give, then fine. But if you know that your dog needs to run flat out to be anywhere close, then obviously you're going to have to make a decision at the point. Go, well, I'm going to try and do what I can, but then you risk the fallout of running flat out. You risk a lot more. So then your qualifying place is in the balance anyway. I suppose.
Yeah, I think give an example, Don Weaver.
Yeah,
for me, I'm generally around an agility course around about seconds behind her. If I go flat out, I think I'm about half a second behind her.
Wow, I've never been there. That's amazing.
Over if I go flat chat, but if I go flat chat, then obviously mistakes.
Yeah.
Or off.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing, isn't it? I suppose when you get to grade 7, those are the things that then you can start testing. I suppose you can start playing around with what you're, you know, like we said earlier, testing how fast you are behind a certain person, or how fast it took you to take that course. So making a note. I think the important thing,
sorry to rebut in, the important thing to remember is that criteria is still lost at grade 7. So if you found yourself maybe at a champ show with Olympia qualifiers or champ runs or anything, lots of people that are running those grade 7 class will fundamentally be training and hold, if they've got stop contacts, they'll be holding contacts and repairing start line weights and that sort of thing. So maybe the grade 7 classes aren't as competitive.
Yeah, I mean that's another one, isn't it? You can't. I don't think you can always grade yourself in a grade 7 class, because, like you say, 50% of them are training for something else anyway. So they're not running flat out. They're holding something or whatever, and then the other half are trying their hardest to get around the grade 7 course in whatever time. So it's hard to gauge against the grade 7 class. I think the only way you can do it is if you go into the Olympia qualifiers, the Crufts qualifiers, or the champ classes, whether you plan or whether you're trying to achieve that or not, but that's where you gauge your proper level, I think.
I guess that's as well. You can collect your warrant points as well, can't you? You know, I've never done that with any of my dogs. Stacey did it. Have you not? I'm glad, because I feel really bad, because like Kit would probably be up there somewhere, because he's had phenomenal success. And like, how old's Jensen now, Dave?
7.5.
Oh, don't forget the half.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's important to get to
7.5. Yeah. But you're still potentially 7.5.
Fabulous achievement as well.
And I still think you've got another, you know, a couple of years, 2.5, 3 years probably.
Yeah, I think I'll compete with him until he's 10. I think he'll be fit enough until he's 10.
Yeah.
Then obviously you've got to make a decision, don't you? I'm guessing you see the times dropping off, don't you? You go further and further back, and then maybe that'll be the day that you say, well, maybe that's enough for him, you know.
And have you got plans for another dog?
Nikki and I have talked about it quite a lot, but I've really got to make the decision, really.
Yeah.
I think I might do Champ next year and get on with that. And if we do well, I will another dog for agility. If we don't, I'm quite sure if I will.
Okay.
Because I started agility just because Jensen was uncontrollable, as in hyper. So I needed to work him somehow. Yeah. And I went the gun dog route. The trainer went, he's not a gun dog, he's too crazy. So, and then we started doing agility, and really it was just to calm him down, to be honest. And it did.
Yeah.
It's funny, Stuart and I know we're going off piste a little bit here, but Stuart and I have had this conversation before. I know you listen quite regularly, as to like agility, like isn't always. So sometimes with pet dog people, if they're struggling with their dog, I'll send them down the road of gun dog work or scent work, or, you know, agility. I genuinely look at the owner really as to what they do. And some dogs that are crazy at home, agility wouldn't suit. But it's funny what you said about gun dog, because Alicia said to me the other day, Nairobi had to do like 1 retrieve out of 5, and she was beside herself, and I did have to restrain her, and she said exactly the same. Nobody wants a crazy dog on a shoot.
No.
And did it make him a better pet?
Oh, without a doubt. It nearly, I'll say it changed him overnight, but probably 6 months better. I mean, that's going after 3. Would that have happened anyways? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't think it would have done. But his Thursday nights and his Saturday mornings, they used to get, you know, competing, you can imagine, was just a different matter, of course. He was like a gun dog, if you will, if I can say that. He was crazy the first 18 months we competed. So, yeah, I was called them serviettes and not rosettes because I couldn't get one. So, first 18 months, we didn't do anything at all. He was just mental. But as Stuart knows, my handling was probably a little mental too.
Yeah, you were quite erratic at the start, but
I was crazy. I think we all were when we first started.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I look back at some of the videos that I've done, you know, years and years ago with our first sort of agility dogs, as they were, and I'm like looking back now and going, Jesus. And I'm now, I suppose, would have been one of the people there where everybody else at the ringside going, what the hell is this guy doing here? How did he get in the ring? Who let him in? You know what I mean? And then it takes 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, another dog, whatever, to actually get, or, you know, you find yourself a decent club or trainer or whatever that puts you in the right direction, and it all becomes good. But I think, but agility is different now, though. I think from when even from Jensen's point of view, being 7.5, I think, you know, over the last 5 or 6 years, I think agility training and competing has changed dramatically. You know, I mean, Dave, you could probably remember when you first started compared to what you're doing now. And you look at new people, because I know on the Isle of Wight it's a smaller community, obviously. You must be able to look at the new people coming in and taking on agility, and they're different again to what you were.
Yeah, I didn't do this at all. None.
No.
So around the back of the wing or you know, that you know, I think we started with 6 weaves in my garden,
Yeah.
you know, and it was a friend of mine that started us off on the weaves. But yeah, the training, it was on, and we were only training with friends, you know, and Michelle and Ivan helped out a lot at the start, because they were club, if you will. And then I got a private trainer, I don't know, 3 years ago, I suppose now. We did different things then, and it's different when it's one-to-one. You know, you get it's on that an hour and a half session on indoors, headless chicken. It's different when you get one-to-one in it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah,
so
you get a lot more achieved on a one-to-one, don't you?
definitely. So yeah, and then obviously we COVID, didn't we? So done it a little bit, but since then, it's like, well, Jen's just exploded, I suppose I would say. So,
Yeah, well,
Both
I think
has.
you've
Someone's
become-
got to be standing in front of him.
Yeah, I think you've become a better handler, I would say. That's the difference. Or a better dog trainer, so to speak.
possibly.
You know, that's the bit I look at. So when you get, because I know that you do a lot of different workshops and different sort of guest trainers and all that sort of stuff, which I encourage as many people to do as much as they can, because even if you go to a guest trainer that you think that you don't get anything from, or you think it was a waste of time, whatever, there's always something in it. You go, you know what? I remember what she said, or I remember what he said, and that actually worked for that dog, so I'm going to try that with mine, etc. It might not happen on the day, but somewhere down the line you remember it and you go, actually, that's what we did there. I might try that.
And also you meet different people as well, don't you, that might say something as well. I'm sorry I interrupted being there, David. I'm terrible for that. But I remember the first time I tried out for IMCA, Linda Croxford said to me, I used to run a dog like Herbie years ago. She said, and I remember somebody saying to me, don't ever let go of his whiskers. She said to me, so I'm going to pass that information on to you. Don't ever let go of his whiskers. And if you can keep his whiskers, you'll get him round clear. And I said exactly the same to Stacey when she took him to Switzerland. Don't let go of his whiskers. And you know what? From that moment on, just that one line, because he was a dog that was so fast and used to bank round turns and didn't have a lot of skill in those days, you know. I mean, he was a phenomenal dog, but it wasn't. I taught traditional training, or I was taught to teach that. So we didn't do jump skills. You didn't do one jump skill. So his actual jump style was not there, and it stood him in good stead. And I still repeat that to people that I train now. If they've got a dog that banks, that's fast turning, that takes off obstacle courses, just don't let go of their whiskers. And that was just one person that gave me that little piece of information. Thanks, Linda.
Yeah, funny you saying that, because I mean, we probably all can say the same, that when you put them blinds in, you look down your arm to your fingertips and the dog's on the end of your fingertip, you know you're going to have a cracking run, don't you? Yeah. You know, that turn, you look down your arm, the dog's exactly where you want it to be. That's the same as what you're saying now, is, you know, it's keeping hold of the whiskers, you know, in them turns, that collar grab or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, and I totally agree with you, Stuart, because we're quite lucky on the island. We do get different trainers down, and you just take snippets from others. You have favourites, of course you do, but you tend to take little bits from every one of them. You know, so one trainer's not a great thing, really. I don't. So.
I agree. I do encourage, like you, Stuart. I do encourage people to actively go and train with other people, because I think trainers see things differently as well. So we might have been trying the same thing with the same person time and time again, and suddenly they go somewhere else and somebody says, oh, have you tried it this way? And then suddenly it goes bang, bang, bang.
It also works the other way, when they go to somebody else and that other trainer tells them exactly what you've been telling them for the last 12 months, and they come back and say, oh, so-and-so said this, and you go, yeah, I've been telling you that for the last 12 months.
There's no need to go there, was there, really?
Yeah, obviously Stuart felt the need.
But no, but it works the same as me with my regular, you know, with my regular like groups, weekly group, week one-to-ones, etc. We're playing on a weekly basis every week for all year, and they go on a couple of workshops. They come back and they're excited because it's a breath of fresh air to go to another trainer, another venue. Get a little
the
bit
motivation levels are good as well, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why I go to different trainers and different workshops and stuff, because it gets stale after a while. Like getting to grade 7, like you say, it gets stale to a certain extent. You get to grade 7, you're like, well, okay, I can't just keep doing grade 7 classes now. What do I do now? Because if you didn't have or didn't think about Olympia or Crufts or Champ or whatever, and you were just going to do grade 7, that would get to a point where you go, I can't be bothered to go to this show now because it's just
Oh yeah,
I think you have to have, even if you're not particularly serious about the Crufts or Olympia, but I think you've got to have that. I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to try it.
I definitely think I'm going to try Champ next year. I really fancy having a bash at that. I don't know why. Yeah. You're up against the best dogs in the country, are you?
Yeah, I think you should. I think that's amazing.
But I don't understand it still. I'm guessing you need two clowns, and then you got a final.
Two nonnies.
Two nonnies. It doesn't have to be clear.
Does it not? And
no.
Is it only the top 10?
20.
Top 20.
But there could be, I guess, 100 dogs in the class.
Yeah, but to get to
classes now are massive compared to what they used to be. That especially in the larger categories. I mean, even even the smaller mediums have like double or tripled the size now. I suppose.
Yeah.
There's less classes, though, isn't there? There's less Champ classes for medium and small.
No, it's equal amounts. They're just sometimes in different shows. That's all.
Right. Okay.
So you might have a smaller medium show going on in Scotland and an intermediate large down in Cornwall or whatever it is. They don't necessarily have to be at the same show. So I know some shows don't have a smaller medium, and some shows just have smaller medium.
And if you win, what's that then?
If you win the Champ final, you'll get a Champ ticket, and then if you win 3 tickets, you become agility champion.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's like the pinnacle, really, is it?
Yeah.
And if you win a Champ final and you get a ticket, you get invited to Crufts as well. And then if you do the Champ at Crufts and you win Champ at Crufts, you actually get 2 tickets. So that's your agility champion.
Oh wow.
So that's why Crufts, the Champ at Crufts is so highly sought after, because it's double points basically. It's double your chance.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So if you've already won it, you must have already won a ticket to get there anyway. So if you win Crufts, you get automatically get your 2 wins, your 2 tickets. Which makes
only a certain amount of Champ shows a year then. What, 10 Champ shows?
I don't know how many there are.
I can't remember, to be honest, but there's only a limited amount.
Yeah, because a lot of travelling for you, but generally you'll find that you might get the medium ABCs there as well. You're going to do the ABCs as well, or if they're there?
Yeah. I mean, this is
that's not grade 7, is it? Sorry, that was a bit stupid thing to say.
No, but I mean, that's another thing that I've heard people say as well. They take the dog to the weekend and just do the Champ shows. Just do Champ. Don't do any grade 7 stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, why would I pay £200 to go? Sorry, I live on a bike for people that.
Yeah. So your cost of a show for you is double what we pay.
So why would I pay £200 and then just do 2 runs? Possibly.
Champ is more expensive.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Champ.
Same room.
I didn't hear what he said. It broke up my end.
It's in the same room, so we can't say how much he spends.
Oh no, it's only £1.
Yeah, so your champ entry is more expensive anyway.
Okay.
And generally,
some people do save their dogs for their whatever runs. The issue you have most of the time with Champ, though, is on the Champ day, there's usually a Crufts or an Olympia qualifier as well. So you'll end up
with smalls and mediums, Stuart, it's usually on the opposite day. So like if you've got like 10s or something like that, you usually the Olympia and the singles points are maybe on the Saturday and the Champs on the Sunday. Okay. So I would generally, for me, I would only enter Champ, because there's been a lot of pressure on the dog that weekend, but also the other thing to consider is its strict running order. So when you're trying to keep an eye on the ring as to whether you're strict running order and you're relying on a big show, then sometimes you end up dropping out your grade 7 classes anyway. That's just me, I enter Champ.
I suppose it depends on your dog as well.
Just for Champ.
Because I know from my dog with Riggs, for instance, I would have to do, or not say have to, I would prefer to do a run or two as well as champ, because he works more on the address. He actually works, the more he can do, the better.
Right.
He doesn't get excited enough to worry about it. So I know that some people say that their dogs, they're doing other classes, there's a chance of maybe an injury, there's a chance of a mistake that you can't correct. So then you're going into the champ ring with all these things already happening, or their dogs get too excited over 3 or 4 runs.
I love champ. I get so excited, but so ridiculously nervous. I always feel like even now, I feel like I'm there by invitation. I'm walking courses, and I just love the buzz around the champ ring. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ran. Oh, well, at the UK finals.
Yeah.
But so I suppose that's a similar sort of thing.
Are you in
I don't know really. I'm certainly not a champ. I'm in senior in steeplechase.
Right.
Novice in agility, but we haven't done any really.
You've concentrated.
Doing at Easter, didn't I? Was it Easter?
Yeah. So you've concentrated more on your kennel club this year, haven't you?
Yeah, that was another thing that I thought I might want to do. I might want to make my way up in UK as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So swap from, spend a year doing UK and getting up to champion that, and maybe do a masters,
Yeah.
I don't like masters courses. I can't get around them. I honestly so you'll find when you get there, so masters and champ are so different. They are a million miles apart. Yeah, I could never get around masters courses. I gave up. Lots of people do, and that's no disrespect to any masters judges. There are some that I got round, but I could never get around them. Whether it was like a psychological thing.
Yeah, the courses at masters generally are a little bit more technical.
Right.
Again, it's not a sort of bash at any judges or anything, but their ethos in masters, I think, is more technical.
It's a different style, isn't it?
Different style, yeah, absolutely. And some of those courses are starting to come into champ now. I think there are some really good technical.
You see, I'm going to have this next year, really, because I've got Nairobi coming out. I'm in no great rush, if she's not weaving before then, or, so I want to do beginner steeplechase with her, because I love doing beginner steeplechase. I don't know, with all the changes going on in the UKA, I don't know where the steeplechase qualifiers are going to be, or where even the shows are going to be. But you can, and then I've still got Kit like you, David. He's 7 next year, so I will want to do. I still aspire to get into champ finals with him, and maybe one day get a champ ticket. So, and I don't want to take his last couple of years away from him either. It's quite hard, isn't it? Yeah. That said, a month ago I was giving it all up. So,
yeah, are you feeling better? Sorry, I should have asked.
Yeah, I am. I am feeling better. Yeah, my confidence is returning. Thank you.
Good. So I think we'll sort of start wrapping this up a little bit. I think we've covered that really well, actually. So I think, if we sum it up a little bit from a grade 7 point of view, I suppose the choice is yours when you get to grade 7. You can carry on doing your 6, 7 courses as you want, and maybe play around with the times. Pick a person that you want,
and your points as well. Don't forget.
And pick a person that you maybe want to compete against that year. In your own mind, you go, right, I'm going to concentrate on that person, and I'm going to do this little bit here. Or pick your champs, your Olympias. The Olympia and the Crufts is already 6, 7 anyway, isn't it? So you're generally doing them when you get to grade 6 anyway. So, but I think the champs is definitely, doing a champ is definitely where to go. So that was my. I've been on a couple, obviously, of the international teams, but my only thing was really, when I first started agility, was just to get to grade 7. Just do a champ. Just do a champ. Whatever comes after or with that is brilliant, but just get into a champ final. If you go a champ competition, that's basically what I would look at.
And congratulations.
Yeah, and getting on to grade 7. Yeah. Got a bit of winter training to do, and then we're on it.
Yeah, we have.
Excellent.
Right, so we'll wrap that up there. Thank you very much, Dave, for joining us. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Dave.
Interrupting your holiday to join us.
I should think so too. You're a grade 7 handler now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
Perfect. Right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks. See you later.
See you soon.
Bye.